Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I am going to explore your subconscious mind so that you can discover what it means to dream of a snake that bites you. Something that of course causes you a lot of anguish because it represents the fact of facing a pain that you have absolute certainty that it will get worse. That is what causes all your states of anguish when you wake up, and for that reason, you want to discover its meaning. But before going into the analysis, in case you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Robert. I am a psychoanalyst with more than 30 years of experience. And in case you want to have a psychoanalysis session with me, or in case you want the psychoanalysis of one of your dreams, just send me an email to the one that I am going to leave you here below in the description of this video, so I can tell you how you can join my consultation. Now, back to what it means to dream of a snake that bites you. This is a very important dream because from the outset, it is revealing that you are going through a phase of your life where you feel very overwhelmed by the future consequences of the evils of the present. Most associate a snake bite with betrayal, but what actually happens is that you have already experienced betrayal when you have this dream. What happens is that you do not want to admit it, because many times it is someone in whom you cannot believe that was going to do to you what has subjected you to that process of anguish that you are experiencing at that moment. What is explained because what you fear the most by the time you have this dream is the fact of perceiving that the evil that you have received from someone is going to become much greater with the passage of time. And this reveals what you are really looking for at this stage of your life, is to free yourself from the poison that others have inserted into you, and that causes you to no longer feel confident in your future. And that is where the symbolic core of this dream is, not in betrayal, but in the fact that you no longer believe that you will have a future in which you will be able to be happy, you will be able to be free, and above all, you will be able to live on your own terms. Something that is explained because in the dream you are going to see yourself being bitten by a snake that appears out of nowhere. You are bitten in a surprising way, it is true. You feel the pain for an instant, but after the pain goes away, what happens? Well, there begins your true suffering, since you live for a moment in the dream where you begin to fear not the bite itself, but its consequences. That is to say, to what comes after it, when the poison begins to take effect. That is why what causes you the most frustration at this moment is precisely not knowing what is going to happen to your future. And that explains why all your obsessions are going to stem from having an egregious phobia of chaos. You are going to want everything in your life to be absolutely orderly and in control. And for that reason, if you experience situations where you have to interact with people that will generate chaos in your life, this will immediately activate in you that unconscious anguish that will arise from the fact that you associate your personal value with have a totally designed life, because others have defined it before you. And this is very interesting because it reveals that you are using that sense of order as an emotional substitute that allows you to repress what you really want, which is precisely living as someone who is not afraid to the future, that you can live in the present because you have acquired enough flexibility of character to face any setback that life may throw your way. And this is very important to highlight because precisely in the present, all your anguish processes arise from the guilt that you are experiencing for no longer being able to continue living in the planned, structured, defined way that others had created for you. For this reason, the snake bite speaks of how you feel betrayed by someone you trust, when in reality, what you do not want to admit is that you yourself feel betrayed by your own actions. That is what your dream is revealing. your desire to want to change, which is being repressed by the fact that if you do, you will go against everything you were taught. Deep down, in what represents for you a safe, efficient life, and above all, in line with what a person is supposed to do. Honest, hardworking, dignified, and even morally correct. But the problem is that you have reached a point in your life in which you no longer want to live in such a structured way. Because that life, which worked for you when you were a child, a young woman, which in all probability was the life of your parents, now it just doesn't work for you. It doesn't make sense to you anymore. But what happens? That desire that you hid for a long time in your unconscious is now struggling to get out. But when that happens, your conscious self, that is that part of you that could never be developed because it was repressed, represses in turn to that latent force that is struggling to live, because if it allows it to live, you could live. Deep down, it is not that your conscious self is bad. It is simply that it is trying to protect you, because from a very young age, you were taught that living in chaos was something inadmissible. Now, where does all this come from? If you asked me, I would tell you that in all probability you grew up in an environment in which everything was defined. Each of the steps you took in your life should be taken based on what others determined what was best for you. In fact, this suggests to me that you are a person who never had much decision-making capacity. You are the type of girl or boy who was led to believe that they were making decisions when in reality it was your parents who had made them for you long before. There are many people who often tell me, I decided my Christmas gift, for example, but in practice, they are denying what really happened in their childhood. That in some way, their life was controlled, it was decided by others. Deep down, you were denied the possibility of living in chaos, because your parents did live in disorder, in the unexpected. But in that desire to give you what could be considered a good life for them, they were denying you the possibility of experiencing your own processes of chaos. And that with it, you could develop your unconscious and make your ego state mature. That is why somehow you feel so resentful with your friends, because all this has led you to question whether it was you who chose your friends. And this also applies to relationships. This dream occurs a lot in people who have reached a point in their lives where they realize that their partners were chosen for them, whether it was for her girlfriends, friends, parents, or sisters. And what did they do? Because they accepted precisely to maintain that family harmony, which was what allowed chaos. That force that had been banished by your parents to be exorcised from your life. But the problem is that today we live in a world more chaotic than ever. And unfortunately, since you were never allowed to mature, that is what causes that at this point in your life, your unconscious is forcing your state of conscious self to mature by force. And this, I tell you, is very traumatic. It is as if your wisdom tooth came out completely unexpectedly and as quickly as possible. That is going to cause you a lot of pain. As you can see, this is a much more complex dream than it might seem. So you have to pay close attention in case you see yourself in a dream being bitten by a snake. For the same reason, you already know that if you want me to psychoanalyze some of your dreams or have therapy sessions with me, you send me an email to the one that I leave you below so that I can tell you the way in which you can integrate to my consultation. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if it helped you in any way, and share it so that others can access to this kind of knowledge. Have a wonderful day, and with it, the most beautiful dreams. Bye!